Hi everyone, I am Darianne Galden and thanks for joining me on this installment of Popcorn and Pajamas. Okay, so let's get comfy and get ready for this feature, which is a classic sci-fi, an Oscar-winning classic sci-fi movie from 1960, The Time Machine. Now, released by MGM, it stars Rod Taylor, Allan Young, Sebastian Cabot, and Whit Bissell. For me, one of the things I really love best about watching and rewatching classic movies is when you have those sort of wait a minute moments. Like when you're looking closer at an image, and for example, you're seeing something that you saw someplace else, and you sort of have that light bulb, like the dresses in The Beautiful Girl number in Singing in the Rain, or the backstage stairs in Kiss Me Kate when those pop up in other movies. Yes, it's a sign of the Hollywood movie factory, but it's also sort of a fun thing because think about it. Movies went to the theater, and if they were good movies or if things were open in the schedule, the movies would then cycle back through maybe in a year and a half or a little bit longer. So we have a luxury now of being able to watch anything we want, owning pretty much any movie we want, and having it available, streaming or on our phones. And so many things now, when you look at them, it's like, oh my gosh, how did that gag play in multiple different comedians? But they saw it 10 years apart. They wouldn't remember, or they'd be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this, I love this. So anyway, that's just me. So let's talk about The Time Machine, because The Time Machine is also another one of those movies that really is able to utilize different bits and pieces and even throw in a little homage or two. So now sometimes this was done for practical reasons, or sometimes it was done because, like I said, somebody had an homage and somebody just thought this one prop was really cool, so let's just reuse that. All right, so the first thing you're going to notice is actually pretty easy to spot. And those are from another classic beloved sci-fi film, the 1956 Forbidden Planet. You'll easily spot the uniforms from the C-57D spaceship that were here being worn by the air raid wardens. Now, one that's maybe a little less obvious, except for those film buffs out there, if you look in the background behind George, you'll notice that globe is actually the navigation sphere, also from Forbidden Planet. And then, when they're heading up to the dome, there's that huge, grand, just gorgeous staircase. That was actually salvaged from the deconstruction of Kismet, the 1944 Kismet with Marlene Dietrich, not the Kismet musical with Howard Keel and Vic Damone. So let's get our Kismets straight. Alrighty, so now this practice of repurposing costumes and sets just really adds so much fun, for sharing movies with, friends and fellow film lovers. But let's go back to the homage portion. That would actually take us back to the air raid scene. So that homage and that tribute stems from George Pal and his friendship with Walter Lantz. In 1950, Walter Lantz of Woody Woodpecker and Chilly Willy fame did some work at a very reduced rate for his good friend George Pal. And ever since then, whenever he could, George Pal would incorporate Woody Woodpecker into any of his pictures. So, in The Time Machine, during the air raid scene, you'll notice the little girl running across the street, and when she stops to pick up a toy, look closely at that toy, because even though this is an MGM movie, that girl stops to pick up Woody Woodpecker. You'll also notice that if you listen carefully, anytime the Eloys are having a good time, you can hear Woody Woodpecker laughing among them. So just another little fun bit there. All right, this is an amazing classic with an amazing visual undertaking that originally wanted to be shot in London, but for budgetary reasons, they did have to keep it in the US. Thankfully, they were still able to put money into the visual effects and bring these worlds to life, and as such, The Time Machine won the Academy Award for Best Special Effects in 1961. But it was also nominated for a Hugo Award for the Best Dramatic Presentation. Now, proving that The Time Machine has stood the test of time, I know it's cheesy, it actually has appeared in many other more recent places. For example, in the 1984 Gremlins movie, you can see the time machine there in the inventor's workshop, along with the long-running acclaimed sitcom, The Big Bang Theory. Plus, there's even a subculture that has been accredited to the amazing ingenuity and imagination of H.G. Wells and also Jules Verne's. That subculture is steampunk. If you've not aware of it, Google it, look it up, but then I'm sure when you see pictures, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that, didn't know what it was called. It's that sort of Victorian gears and technology mashup, but it's starting to really make its way from a lesser known subculture to a more pop culture phenomenon. Okay, last thing I'm gonna mention, because this is just my personal favorite. Come on, how can you not love being able to see on screen together the voice talents of Scrooge McDuck and Bagheera the Panther? Maybe you're not so much a Disney scruff, but you're like, wait a minute, what am I hearing? It's because Allan Young, yes, from Mr. Ed, Allan Young, also does the voice of Scrooge McDuck. And Sebastian Cabot played Bagheera the Panther in Jungle Book. Alrighty. So be sure to check your local movies TV network listings. Tune in and set your DVR, as The Time Machine is running multiple times this month, so it'll give you a chance to really pause it and check out all those really fun details. So enjoy. I am your sofa movie watching buddy, Darianne. I thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, remember, keep an eye out for those details that will start these fun movie-loving conversations. Keep the popcorn popping, and keep films alive, because films are best enjoyed comfy. Take care. Needs more butter.